What's going on, y'all? It's your man Jose, aka the Dominican Dream, for the Boxing Roundtable. And as always, we are ready to talk boxing. This is part 2 of the Terence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov fight card prediction. We not only predict and break down the main event, Terence Crawford versus Israeli Madrimov, but we also get caught up in a conversation about the mythical matchup being brewed, being talked about, and being pushed by Turki Al-Sheikh, and also being asked for by Terence Crawford and his team, and that is Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Enjoy the video. You already know, share, like, and subscribe.
The question that we should be asking, uh, instead of whether he's going to win or lose, or is Israel going to uh, face such a matchup challenge for Crawford? The question that we should be asking is, does Crawford need a knockout or an spectacular performance in order to build the momentum into the Canelo sweepstakes? Like, does he need to put in a masterful performance, given that he already moving up into a new weight class, and to build that demand for the mythical matchup of a Canelo versus Crawford?
Well, in my opinion, I'm gonna go ahead and answer that first. Then you could go Maniac. I'm gonna say no. Crawford would need to do that. He already has his particular resume, his body of work. His name rings bells in boxing. Um, he beat down a guy who everybody knew was a monster. People want to discredit him now, Sean. Absolutely not. Errol Spence is a monster, was a monster. I understand, in my opinion, yeah, he was dreaming for the fight. That's not on Crawford. Crawford did what he had to do. And he also, he was in a real tough fight against Porter. Everybody is. But he did come from behind slightly to stop Porter. So, he's up there. He's pound for pound, number one, number two, number three, however you have him. He don't need to do anything spectacular to get any fight. Now, about that fight, I don't care for that fight. That's a casuals fight. That fight makes no sense. It's a stupid fight. But like I told Sean, I think it's gonna happen, and that is
No,
Williams versus Canelo.
I'm on board with you guys on that one. I don't want to see the fight. I'm a hardcore boxing fan, and I mean, to me, the fight that makes sense with Canelo is the Benavides fight. I mean, that's the fight that genuinely I want to see, and I want to make sure that I watch. But I'm talking in terms of the casual fan base, because a lot of people are gonna be tuning in, and a lot of the times, you use it as a measuring stick, given that, remember, there's a storyline behind here. Madrimov was actually Bebo's sparring partner when Bebo faced Canelo. So it's almost kind of like a measuring stick to see how is he gonna fare versus Canelo if he decides to move up to 168 and match him for the throne, if you want to say. So does he need a masterful performance in order to build the momentum and fans calling for the fight? Or if he goes and gets a UD, do you think that the fans will be calling for it regardless? That's something that I'm curious to know. Because for me, if he goes and get there and lays an egg and has kind of like a unanimous decision, the question will linger: does he have enough in order to beat Canelo? That's something that may linger.
Yeah, so I'll say this. I mean, it's a fair question, Ralphie. I mean, I mean, and the reason it's a fair question because yes, there's been a lot of speculation of this fight happening. In fact, Turkey Al Sheikh has said that he's gonna offer Canelo something real nice, to try to get him to fight with Crawford. I'm with the dream on this. I'm with you as well. This fight makes absolutely zero sense. For one, it's a lose lose for Canelo. If he wins the fight, well, he was supposed to win. Crawford is a little guy. If he loses this fight, he's going to get so much kickback because of ducking Benavides. Then he lost to a junior middleweight. It's going to be detrimental to his career. Not really. Canelo's is solidified, but this in particular, this chapter in his career is going to look bad. So Canelo should just stay away from that fight. And then as far as Crawford's performance, just like Dream said, this is more of a casuals fight, right? This is what the casuals are asking for. I think, regardless of how it goes, they're gonna make an excuse for Crawford being who he is. Well, come on, this is his first fight at 154, and he fought a champion. I mean, come on, why y'all hating? You know, you can't win. I already know what the narrative is gonna be if he struggles. I'm telling you, it's gonna be that. If he dominates, oh, you see him. That's why he's the best. I think he's the best. But again, Madrimov is inexperienced, man, and this is a fight Bud should win. But regardless, Ralphie, I think that him winning in spectacular fashion just gonna make people want to see the fight more. If he doesn't, they still gonna want to see it. They might not be yelling now. They might just be talking about, oh, I want to see Canelo Crawford. But if he wins, dominate, yo, Crawford Canelo. And I hope it doesn't happen. So, I mean, we'll see. You're right. I think everything depends on his performance. But there's a lot of sharks at 154 for Crawford, man. And you got, you know, another fighter. There's only one division south from you, and that's Boots. So it's really no one can say,
And
well, bro, who is it for Crawford to fight? No one can say that bullshit.
absolutely not. And he seems to really not want that fight. I'm not saying that he won't take it, but he really don't want that fight. And I'm really, like I said it before, I'm upset that they're really begging for this fight. I mean, they begging for it, bro. Like, I mean, they begging for it, man. I'm telling you, like that bothersome, you know, a drug addict outside when you come outside of New York City, bro. They ask you 3 times when you went to the store. You went to the store to go get something to eat. Then you went to this side. You went to, to the dollar to the 99-cent store. Every time, yo, he seen you 4 times already. Yo, you spent some. Yo, I told you I don't got it. So that's Crawford and
Canelo.
no, and then was the fat dude, Bomac. That's Crawford just begging for that fight. Like, why are you fixated on a guy that's literally 3 divisions higher than you? Yes, three. Because he's still, as of Saturday night, he still would not have made his 154-pound debut. So right now, as we speak, he only fought up to 147 pounds. So you're talking about a guy 3 weight classes above his: 154, 160, 154, 160, 168. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? What is that? Turkey got money. Turkey's offering you big money for other fights. Why is he fixated on that fight particularly? I don't know. To me, it's stupid. But that's the era that we're in right now. I think Rafa mentioned it. Ralph mentioned it in another um, show that we did. This is the Jake Paul era, man. This is the spectacle era. This ain't really. It's just about money grabs and spectacles, and So look for that fight to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wouldn't be a huge surprise if it ends up happening. I mean, Canelo will have so much to lose taking that fight. He will have to win that fight. He better hope he wins that fight. I don't care if he barely edges it. He has to win that fight. But I mean, go ahead.
I just want to tell you guys that rumor has it that an offer has already been made to Canelo and he has turned it down. I'm not absolutely sure if it's the figure. I don't. They didn't really disclose the amount. They only disclosed that
Where
he
where
goes
where
that
where did, where did you hear this? 'Cause I only heard this in one place, and that's a guy that speculates a lot on his channel, and that's Bernardo Pilati, Spanish channel. He's the only one who I've heard say that.
I think
No,
it.
it's true. Yeah, I've heard that. I heard there was one offer made and Canelo did turn it down. But Turkey Al Sheikh is also pushing for this fight because he said he had promised Crawford a big fight. And this is the fight Turkey wants to make for Crawford. It's Canelo. So, he said he's going to offer Canelo what he thinks is fair. And again, I know we could always say no, 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 but money talks at the end of the day, right, Ralphie? Right, Dream? Because
A hun-
listen,
100% is about money,
that's it. So you telling me if Turkey's giving is gonna give Canelo something like 55 to 60 million guaranteed to fight Crawford plus pay-per-view upside, it's hard for me to see him not take that fight. But I hope he doesn't.
Well, the thing is, he also mentioned that because I guess he's seeing, yo, I'm throwing away the kingdom's money. I'm throwing this shit away because you said, I'm prepared to make Canelo a good offer, whatever. But if he's talking crazy, I'm not. I'm gonna get another fight. If he's talking crazy, as if he's trying to outprice, he asked for too much because I guess he's seeing, yo, what I'm putting in, I'm not getting out. And I told you that. I told you that he could throw away the kingdom's money for a certain amount of time, but after that, he's not the king. He's not the prince. He's just in charge of entertainment. He works for them. So if they tell me, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing with our money? What is this? No, 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 nah. Come on, stop playing. We got more important things to do. When that
yeah.
happens, that's it.
It,
He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to become like the other promoters.
it's funny because there's so many people that start counting people's pockets, and all of a sudden they think that they just can go to Arabia to get money. Is like, no, like we expect you to fight regardless, but that just because it's coming out of Saudi Arabia doesn't mean that he's giving you a blank check. Like, he's gonna want you to see an exciting fight, but it just seems like everybody's just counting for this guy's money. Like, when Canelo made that outrageous demand for $200 million, like, all of a sudden people said, "Oh, the Saudis." Like, yo, like, who says they're gonna pay that shit? At the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's their choice, whether they want it or not. But I guess we're just gonna have to sit and wait and see what happens and how the ball gets rolling.
Yeah. Or,
Not only that, if he's making those fights over here in the U.S., so why would the kingdom of Saudi Arabia continue to give him money to make fights in the U.S. for the U.S. to make money? That doesn't make much sense at the end of the day. So I think he's not going to be more careful as to how much he pays people.
no, or what happens is the bag is gonna be there, but only for the fights I want. And that's it. I'm not gonna keep throwing the bag. Because remember, we saw that with PBC. Remember, Al Heyman paying his fighters to get 2, 3 million to fight Mickey Mouse Joe. Oh, you see, Al Heyman pay his fighters, but look where they at now. PBC is not in a good place. It's only a matter of time. So yes, I do agree with that as far as the Saudi go, because eventually it's like, yo, all right, listen, we need we want to see profit now. So when that part gets involved, now things change. That money ain't getting thrown around like that. Now you're more calculated on how you make fights. So we will see again. We will see how it all plays out. But I hope Turkey Al Sheikh. I know the pockets is deep, but he needs to do it for the fights that deserve it, not just fights that he wants to promise. Not like, look, Crawford, he's 168, bro. I'm not going. We leave that alone. You could come here 154. We got Fandora, we got Zul, we got Virgil Ortiz. Shit, we got Charlo is still here. He just tweeted something. He said,
And
"I'm
and,
I'm
and, and,
coming back."
and like you mentioned, Jerron Ennis is right there. He's a big boy, and he's with Matchroom. Easy fight to make.
Another easy fight to make. So there's no excuse for anybody, whether it's fan, commentator, analyst, say, well, what is it for Crawford at 150? No, no one can say that. There's plenty of food on the plate at 154 and exciting fights. Like I said, you still got Jermel Charlo at 154. He just put a story out like, I'm coming back. So listen, we don't know how he's gonna look after coming from 168, but at the end of the day, no one's taking them belts from him. In the ring, he's just like what Lomo was, just like what Josh Taylor was. They took his belt; they were undisputed. So let's see. You got Pandora. Let's see Spence. Spence might If he retires on that, Virgil Ortiz, Boots could come up. Man, listen, I don't want to hear it. I mean, Crawford has plenty of options at 54, and that's that.
What do you
I
think
don't
of
want
that? What do you think of that? Those those comments about that are going around about Errol Spence retiring. I told you that he might be done. He just suffered too much in his career, outside the ring and then inside the ring
Yeah,
with
that
Crawford in that fight. What do you
his,
think about that? What do you guys think about that?
his lifestyle played him a lot. I mean, this guy, and I tell that to people. It's like you may be having fun at the moment, drinking and going out and stuff, but that takes years away from, especially if you're doing a career where you're getting punched in the face for a living. Like it's just that's not surprising. That's all I have to say.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I agree. And to that add the accident, and to that add the detached retina, and to that add the the condition that he came in against Crawford and the ass whooping that he sustained. That people sometimes don't come back from beatings like that, Sean.
correct. And no, and I'm glad that Ralphie mentioned something as far as lifestyle, right? Outside the ring. And that's one thing that keeps Crawford atop is that he's the opposite. He lives a very, very clean life outside the ring. He doesn't party, he doesn't drink. So that, bro, what you think B Hop, besides, B Hop being a very skilled fighter, he was able to fight until his like 50 because of his lifestyle he lived. And he just got one in the generation genetics because just not everybody could do that, man.
Well,
Especially
Bia
in a
was definitely
boxing.
like a boxing monk. He's
Yeah,
like a boxing monk.
definitely. Definitely, man. Because already at 30 something years old, you're already considered old in boxing. You're a dinosaur, and it all depends, how your career went, basically. But in your 20s is your golden times normally for all fighters. They 20s, early to mid 20s is when they go on rampages. But of course, a lot of fighters in their early 30s, mid 30s have done wonderful things too. But, you
Well,
know,
that's as of late. Back in the day, 80s, 90s, early 20s to mid 20s,
How 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 old
teens to mid
how
20s. You
how
was in your
old
prime in your teens to mid 20s. Now you like you said, Sean, is late 20s, early 30s, up to mid 30s. But back in the day, at 23, you cats were multiple weight world champions, nasty, beat the shit out of legends. Now, oh, you're only 25. Oh, you're only 26. So things change. Now
how,
people's primes are later.
how old was Hopkins when he beat Trinidad? Was he like 37, 38?
yeah, he was something in that sense.
He was like
Yeah, he had
he was in his late 30s because he was already talking about he had made a promise to his mother that he was going to retire or something like that.
yeah, he sure didn't retire after that, but he was already up there. Remember, he made 20 something straight defenses at middleweight. I mean, that's just incredible what he did. And he fought until he went from the executioner to the alien
Yeah.
because just of his ability to fight that late in his career and beat world champions and top fighters. So B Hop, man, he's a rare fighter, rare specimen. He's definitely a fighter that the day he passed away, they have to put him in the lab and just take pieces of his his body to see how he was able to do stuff, because we might not see that again for a long time, right? But look, man. Regardless, we got a good solid card Saturday. Obviously the two fighters we all really looking for. Me is how Crawford looks and how Pitbull looks because there's a lot of big fight implications depending on their performances. So I can't wait to see how they perform and see how it goes. And I truly believe Andy Ruiz and Jarrell Miller is going to be a rock'em sock'em kind of fight. Regardless, neither of them is a threat to any top heavyweight. Now, people are going to say, well, Andy Ruiz he beat Joshua. Same way Cambosos beat Tio. That was just, uh, 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 you know, struck lightning in the bottle, and then Joshua just outboxed him in the rematch. So this is your two uncles at the barbecue fighting, Andy Ruiz and Miller. So we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, man, David Morrell, man. I think he's a very entertaining Cuban. I think he could box and he definitely could punch. So I'm looking forward to see how he does. And Andy Cruz as well, man. Should be a very solid card. I'll be watching from beginning to end.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna be at the event on Saturday, so I'm hopefully I'll get there early enough to catch all of the fights.
What you mean
And
the event? You flying out there?
yeah, I'm flying out there. I'm flying out there Saturday morning, so hopefully
Nice. Okay.
I'll
So
be
you're
able
gonna
to.
be nice. Yeah, I got a
Yeah,
couple of dudes that they going to the fight as well. I was on the
yeah,
fence on going, but I'm good, man. I did the Shakur and I did the boots. I'm gonna just wait. In September, Top Rank is coming back to the Garden. I'll definitely be going to that,
yeah.
regardless who's headlining.
Final question that I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you guys: Do you think the Virgil Ortiz Tim Tszyu uh canceling had a big impact on the tickets not selling as well?
That's listen, man. That's again another very fair question, man. I don't think like a major impact, but definitely a couple of thousand, man. Virgil Ortiz and Tim Tszyu does bring a crowd with him from Australia, so yeah, it impacted somewhat because just imagine this, Raphael. Your main event is Crawford Madrimov. Your co-main event is Ortiz, Tim Tszyu. The fight behind that is Pitbull, Venezuela. I mean, you like, my goodness. Those are three main events on their own card alone you can do. And they were
Right.
all on one card. So I think, like I said, it definitely plays a part. I don't know how major, but it definitely played a part without a doubt.
Well, looking forward to Saturday. That's all I gotta say. So, thank you guys for inviting me over one more time, and hopefully we'll discuss more Boston.
Yeah, anytime, man. Make sure you get some footage, man, while you out there.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best. The last one that I went to was the Loma Haney fight, and honestly, I left out of there heartbroken because of that fight. But hopefully, I'm recovered enough to go to a lot more boxing events afterwards.
All right, brother. No doubt, Ralphie. Thank you, man, for coming on. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right. All right. All right. Yeah, man. So we pretty much gave we pretty much gave our breakdown, man, and now is we're about 3 days away, man, for showtime. So let's see how it all go down.
All right, man. So what was the last thing Ralph was talking about? I didn't hear it.
Oh, he mentioned
Or
his
both of
last
y'all, because
question.
y'all was going back and forth.
Yeah. So his last question was, do you think Virgil Ortiz and Tim Tszyu not being on the card had an impact on ticket sales? A major impact.
Well, I don't know if it had a major impact on ticket sales, but for me personally, I was definitely upset that that fight was off. I think that fight really made the card like super, super, super well. That made it a super card. Now it's a well-rounded and deep card, right? It's a deep card. But with that fight, that was a super card because you had Crawford on there versus, undefeated fighter. You got Pitbull on there versus Valenzuela, and then you had Zoo against Virgil Ortiz. Man, that was good. And then all undercards too. So that made it a super card. And now you don't hear people saying it's a super card anymore. Yeah, they're looking forward to. It's a big card, but it's not that super card anymore. As far as ticket sales, I don't know because I don't know how big of a draw. I don't think Virgil's that known yet, and Tim Tszyu, as we know, is not even American, so he's definitely not known. So I don't know how did it affect it. Yeah, but not to an extraordinary
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what I said. Yeah, same thing, man.
All
But
right,
he's
man.
gonna
So
be
that's
out. He's gonna go to the fight.
yeah, no doubt. That's I'll tell you what. You talk about traveling and going fighting, going for cars. That's a car. Even still now, still worth going out there for and checking out the West Coast experience. If Zoo and what's the name was on it, forget about it. Yeah, that's definitely a car. I never been to the West Coast, and man,
Yeah.
that would have been a great first trip for me.
I've been to the West Coast, but not Cali. I've been to Vegas many times, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna go to Cali. That's on the bucket list for a fight. So there'll be plenty more out there. So yeah, man, Saturday should be a good night, man. The boxing, and hopefully the car lives up to its potential.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, man. So you guys already know that was the preview for this weekend's fights. Yeah, like
Immediate post fight Saturday.
absolutely, absolutely. Check that out. Tune in live. You already know.